you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody now give you no break.
That's what we need. Perp walks. Are we all going to have to turn to everybody into vigilantes to prevent another Bernie Madoff? Think about it. Ponzi, Milken, Boesky, Ebers, Kozlowski, Lay, and now Madoff. That's just a handful of the dozens of major white-collar criminals to prey on our financial system. No matter what Mary Shapiro says and does at the SEC, there'll be a new round of sharks. These guys can run a ring around rule that they write. What? So what can we do? Madoff whistleblower Harry Markopolos had an interesting idea: pay SEC cops 20% of the amount of any fraud they uncover. A nice incentive to do their jobs, but even that won't be enough. I think we need to explore giving 20% of the amount of a fraud to anyone who discovers it and reports it.
Good idea.
We need whistleblowers, if not vigilantes, maybe both, right? So let's find out from decorated friend NYPD veteran Tommy Ruskin. Tom, what about this idea? I've posed this to you before in the past. Give anyone 20% of whatever fraud they find.
I don't want to give it to the SEC investigators. I want to give it to the people who basically blow the whistle on them.
The bounty hunter.
The bounty hunter. Or the people who write the letters to the SEC where you find money and the SEC either makes an arrest or claims money and gets the money back for the people who may have invested with them.
That's all great and dandy, but I mean, the one thing I've been hounding on since we started this show is why not just absolutely prosecute and make these punishments outrageous? If you steal money, actually, if you're a Ponzi guy, you get put to death.
Well,
maybe not put to death, but a life in prison.
But listen, I like 150 years for Madoff. That's really good.
Yeah, but about the rest of these jokers,
that is a life sentence.
I want Ebers
Give him 30 years.
in prison
It's a life sentence.
I want Ebers hung upside down from his
How about
toenails in prison
Stanford?
forever. And
Send Stanford away.
But instead, we enable them.
But seriously, Tommy, though, seriously,
Short of shooting.
That's a good idea. I mean, as you're saying, let the people, like Harry Markopolos, he'd get a windfall of money by saying, hey, but
by
he
turning
did.
them in.
But he turned them in.
A lot of people
he turned them into the SEC, and the SEC did nothing. So then, what are you saying? Turn it into law enforcement like you?
No, what I'm saying is the SEC has to be beefed up, and they have to have the provisions to be able to go after this money and to go after and really have the knowledge.
So therein still lies the problem that the SEC, regardless if we have the bounty for people who discover the fraud, if the SEC or these regulators don't do jack about it, then we're in the same boat.
The FBI is now having to gear up their New York office to just do these type of investigations. They have 20 FBI agents, they have analysts, they have forensic accounts that are now gearing up in New York, taking time away from other things that they better be doing to investigate these type of things.
Here's the thing, all right, so for years, and we've known this on Wall Street, that the SEC was filled with a bunch of young guns out of law school who spend 2 or 3 years as an SEC attorney or commissioner and then move on to Wall Street, the very people they're supposed to be regulating. So they go easy on these guys because they know that's their meal ticket going down the road. That's my point. Let them make some money at the SEC level. Let everyone make some money. You find fraud.
Pay them more.
Who cares?
Pay them more. Get more trained people who know what they're investigating and how to investigate. Listen, Madoff testified yesterday or elocuted in his trial that he lied to the SEC. The SEC never found it. So he lied to them.
That's the whole point. For 40 years, the SEC let this guy lie to him, and now if we'll just give the SEC more money, suddenly they're going to be able to detect the lie?
No.
Give me a break. They're never going to be able to detect the lie. Why even pretend that they can protect me? Just prosecute the guys who do wrong and quit this facade of fake regulation.
Prosecute. It's the same thing.
We found it.
We're going in circles here. We're going in circles.
No.
Tommy, can I ask you?
His Ponzi scheme fell apart.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
As Eric had said, the economy tanked.
Yeah.
Had the economy still been going up, we might not. He'd still be out there.
So but if we gave the SEC, if we doubled the SEC's budget, they would suddenly find it.
You said the FBI is putting all their resources to this now.
A portion of their resources.
A lot of people are concerned out there that what about terrorism there? Are we diverting too much of our resources to the economy, even from the White House? To the regulators, we're going to miss
No,
something.
they're starting a new squad that's going to, not a new squad, but they're beefing up the squad that they already had. It's not taking away from terrorism. It's not taking away from our homeland security. It's not going to take away from that. What they're going to have to do is train their investigators in what to look for with the SEC people, and they have to work together.
Hey,
and they have to reward the people who come forward.
If you give them a piece of the action, they'll find out they'll be
for
up
sure.
to speed real
Right.
quick.
So in the end, it cost me more welfare to give the guy who found it another $10 billion because he found the $50 billion.
All your money, Cody. All right, thanks so much, CMP Group President Tom Ruskin. Thanks a lot, Tommy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on tap, Council on Foreign Relations fellow Shannon O'Neill is here. Mexico's escalating drug wars hitting home. What will it mean?